Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Duncan, your future Spartanburg County Sheriff here. On today's discussion with Duncan, we are talking about internal affairs. As your sheriff, I would like to establish an internal affairs department or a team that would be responsible for investigating any kind of complaints that come through the office. Now, this team must be a diverse team comprised of about 4 to 5 individuals from Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office. What this does is instead of having an individual and you have a team, it makes the chances or likelihood of a nepotism or favoritism, or regardless of social status, at the sheriff's office, you have a more diverse team to be able to make sure that everybody is treated equally and fairly. Now, why do you, the public, even care that there's an internal affairs department, division, or a team? Well, basically, this gives you somebody to make a complaint to, and you can rest assured that your complaint would be investigated. You would have somebody to actually talk to. It holds the deputies to a standard, code of conduct standard at Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office, and it goes for all deputies, not just the regular deputies, but the command staff and positions of authority as well. Now, deputies, why is the internal affairs division or a team important to you? Well, this division would be responsible for handling any kind of disciplinary action. It gives you a team to respond to instead of just an individual. If you have an individual, that person hands down the punishment, you are afforded the appeal process, and then that person also handles the appeal process. However, if you have a team, then you have all walks of life, you have different experiences, and it gets a more consistent disciplinary action. Now, internal affairs is not there just to catch people breaking policy and get people in trouble. It is there for your protection as a deputy. It makes sure that there is a standard across the board. For example, currently, you may have somebody at Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office that makes an inappropriate joke in the workplace. That person may end up getting terminated. While you have somebody else that has a integrity violation or has broken policy multiple times and ends up just with a verbal warning or if anything at all. So what this will do is kind of brings everybody on the same playing field. Case law, you know exactly what's going to happen. Everybody is treated equally and fairly at the office. So that does it for today's discussion with Duncan. But I want to hear from you, the public. What do you want to see from Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office? What do you like that Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office currently does? What do you want to see changed from Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office? And what can we do at the office to better the relationship between the office and the communities? Shoot me a message. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Y'all have a good day. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Nick Duncan, your future Spartanburg County Sheriff here. On today's discussion with Duncan, we are talking about the jail. I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask me, what are my plans for the jail? What do I think about the jail? What would I change? What's good? That sort of thing. Now, before we get started with discussion with Duncan, there is a vicious rumor going around that I am working with individuals that are causing problems at the sheriff's office, that I am sending these people out to the sheriff's office to cause issues with the sheriff or with the sheriff's deputies. That is not true. I am not working with YouTubers, First Amendment auditors, police to police, freedom auditors, anyone like that. The only person I work with is my wife. She works for free. My wife is the only person that I feel comfortable in saying that she speaks on my behalf. However, she still asks for my permission to post something when she is posting something on my behalf. So if you see something on Facebook or social media, just know that that opinion is that of only them. It is not the opinion of Nick Duncan. I'm not sending anybody anywhere to do my dirty work. This right here is my dirty work. I have said it over and over and over again. I want to run a clean race. This is nothing personal. This is nothing negative. This is just business. Spread information accordingly. On to discussions with Duncan.
Discussions with Duncan, a voice of reason in the storm, leading the way, making the community warm. Transparency and communication, pillars of his reign, bringing hope and progress for the sheriff's office name.
Now, I know this is probably going to ruffle some feathers, but this year, administration with Spartanburg County has gotten a 5% raise across the board for all of Spartanburg County. Administration at the sheriff's office was able to negotiate an additional 5% for the deputies. But this is not for all deputies. This is just for the Class 1 deputies. Now, all of these deputies work under the sheriff. You have the Class 1 deputies that are getting an extra 5%, while the Class 2 and the Class 3 are not getting an additional 5%. They are getting just the 5% that everyone at Spartanburg County is getting. This does not correct any kind of pay discrepancy. Individuals at the jail are just as valuable as everyone else. It needs to be worked out and amended so that everyone is paid the same based on your rank and years of law enforcement experience. Part of the problem that you're having with this 10% versus 5% raise is that you have Class 1s working with Class 2s and Class 3s at the jail. Some of the Class 1s are supervised by someone else that is not a Class 1, which means you are going to give a subordinate a 10% raise and their supervisor a 5% raise. This is going to harbor bad feelings. Whereas if you had a pay scale, everyone would know exactly where they stand. And when you get a raise, it would reflect on the pay scale. Now let's discuss the jail deaths. While I do not think there is anything nefarious going on at the jail, I think transparency is key. We need to make sure that we are addressing these issues, make sure that we are investigating these issues fully, and we probably are. We don't need to wait until the news comes and says, hey, you've had these deaths at the jail, what are y'all doing about it? We need to go out first and say, hey, we had a death at the jail last night. We're investigating it. We'll let you know the outcome later. I understand if there is an ongoing investigation, we're not going to share that. However, whatever it is, be transparent. If you are not transparent, then it appears like you are hiding something. Now, going a step further with the jail deaths, I do not think that Spartanburg County should be providing medical care for the inmates at Spartanburg County. I think that that is a bad combination. And I think that should be contracted out to somewhere like Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System. We can make sure that the inmates are getting the medications that they need on time. We can make sure that the medications are accurate. And we don't accept the liability from the medical aspect. Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office does not need to be providing medical care at Spartanburg County Detention Center. That needs to be contracted out by a trained, licensed medical professionals that do this on a full-time basis. Spartanburg Regional Medical Center could bring in a med cart. They could actually give someone that has a daily medication, they can give them a wristband just like we have at the jail. They can scan it just like they do at the hospital. Scan, this is the right medication, this is the date and exact time that I administered this medication. If they refuse, sign right here. That takes the liability off of Spartanburg County. We do not need that liability. Let someone else have it. Yes, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but I think it is well worth it. If we can intellectually articulate this to Spartanburg County Council, then maybe we can get these things done. But that does it for today's discussion with Duncan. Remember, be nice. Don't forget to vote. We got less than 3 weeks left. June 11th, tell them you want to vote in the Republican primary for the sheriff. God bless y'all. Take care.
The red, white, and blue. Lead